you had time to reflect on last Friday?
Yeah, absolutely. Had the whole weekend actually. Yeah, I think, I guess looking back at it, we had our opportunities, but we just probably weren't clinical enough at times to really take the win that we needed.
You're in a bit of a sticky period. How do you sort of propose to break it?
Well, I think winning helps, doesn't it?
What have we got to do though?
Well, mate, we've got to be, like I say, we've just got to be more clinical at key moments. And if you look through that game, there's a couple of errors that have happened. We've gone and scored points, and there's errors that have happened that have allowed them back in our half, and we just basically couldn't get out for a long period of time. Then when we did get down, we took points, and then again an error, and we start straight back on it. So what we need to do is we actually just need to understand that once we score points, those are the big moments that we need to nail. And then once we get into the 22, once we get into and put teams under pressure, we've got to be able to hold on to the ball and be able to score. And that's what we've got to focus on this week.
Chris, have you sort of come across over your career, sort of a run where you've won 2 out of 10?
Well, obviously the seasons aren't that long in New Zealand like here, but I have experienced situations where you don't, you lose a few, you drop a few. But again, I think it's just a matter of sticking true to your guns and understanding what we're about, and just keep driving for that excellence, and that's what we're about. That's what we're trying to do.
What do you do this week? Because obviously it's a game where we're at the Heineken Cup now in terms of we've got big games coming up. But do you rest key players ahead of the Christmas period, or do you say you carry on with your full strength side, given that you need a win?
Yeah, it's been a very difficult decision to and a discussion from a coaching perspective about what happens next. But I think the first and foremost, we've got to pay respect to Castres as well. They're coming here and onto our home turf, and if we rolled out a B team against them and got smashed, that would do nothing for us as a team or organisation or our fan base. So we definitely won't be doing that. Whether we rest players or not, we've just got to assess the squad. We're a little bit thin in some places, so we want to be competitive. We believe that we're good enough to win that game. We just didn't quite nail some things. So again, we want to have a real crack on Friday night.
How is your injury position, Chris? The likes of Adam Jones, Andrew Bishop? Yeah,
Bishop's probably a little bit more long term. Again, you need to talk to the medical team about the actual medical times, the terminology around that, but he's going to be a little bit more long term. Bomb was doing a little bit of training yesterday, which is good, just out on his own with the medical team. So again, I'm not sure how far away he is. He won't be available for selection this week, but again, he's progressing pretty well.
Castres are the top 14 champions. You played them on Friday night. What do you think were the main strengths as a team?
Well, they're very big, very physical. Obviously you saw in some of the driving maul stuff and the scrum stuff that they're a big pack. They're very aggressive. I think what they did well Friday, and we're sort of picking that they're going to bring a bit more of, is that they chose their moments when to attack our ruck well. If you look at it, when they came heavy, and again, it's just a matter of us being able to make sure we combat that. But they're a team that like to offload, they like to play, and they run good support lines around their ball carriers. So they're a threat right across the park. So we're going to have to make sure that we're on top of our game for that.
They are unbeaten in the last 5 games, but they only won 1 game away from home. That must give you a hope for Friday.
Yeah, I think, again, just bringing the focus back onto us. We know what they're going to bring, and they play that type of rugby. But again, we just need to make sure that we prepare the best that we can, and that's by, like I say, just doing our basics well, getting our set piece stuff right, and giving the back some decent ball to play from. We showed on Friday that once we do that and do it well, we're a handful ourselves. So again, that's what we're focusing on.
There's a lot of speculation around some of your senior players. I don't know if there's any news about any of them, but that seems to be unsettling. You do things like put them out on the bench.
So what specifically, like?
Well, just all the talk about what are they going, what's happening with them.
Yeah, you read it in the papers, and it's obviously not ideal. But the reality is that as a team, that hasn't filtered into what we're about. And fair credit to the boys that you're talking about. They haven't made a big song and dance about it in front of the boys. So we've just got to as a group, just got to make sure we keep moving forward. And you know, those boys, when they pull the Ospreys jersey on, they give everything they got. So we expect nothing less.
It's a new situation for you, though, in terms of you've got guys that you know maybe not here next year, 6 months out, and things like that. Is it sort of, it's a different situation to maybe football where people go straight away. You've got teams that they're here till next May, you know, and you know they're not going to be here next season. Is that a new situation for you?
No, that's professional rugby, isn't it, nowadays? And you kind of, you know, from a coaching perspective anyway, you know, you make some decisions long term, and you know, in those boys' situations, you know, they're doing what's right for them, I guess. But the key thing is that it's about making sure that as a group we just keep focused on what we're about and what we want to achieve this year. And we've still got a hell of a lot to play for. Although we're out of Heineken, Pro 12 is definitely, you know, within our reach if we can sort a few things out. So we just got to keep making sure that from a team that's what we're focusing on, and it's all about Ospreys Rugby and what we're going to do in the next 6 months.
Chris, how important is it that Alan Wynne signs a new contract?
Yeah, it's hugely important, I guess, from you know, not only from Ospreys Rugby, but from the Welsh perspective as well. But again, you know, what's important about that is we just need to work together and make sure that we can get an outcome there that keeps Al in Wales, really.
Chris, you've seen the Pro 12, I mean, you've experienced it now, and obviously Joe as well, and stuff, but just in terms of this speculation about an Anglo-Welsh league, you know, as a New Zealander, what are your thoughts on that? You ended up playing against some of the England sides. Yeah,
obviously, you know, that's going to bring another set of challenges in itself. I think the thing that I think is important, and it's important for us as Ospreys, but it's important for Welsh rugby in the regions, is that whatever competition it is, it's really a breeding ground for the future of rugby and good players coming through. And so we need competition that's going to be really competitive week in, week out. And if that means us joining the Anglo-Welsh thing, then whatever it is. But what we need to make sure that we are playing tough teams week in and week out for us to get better, and then that's going to flow on and make sure that our national team, the Welsh team, is strong as well. So, you know, hopefully that we can get to some sort of agreement and get a decent competition that we can play in.
Do you think that competition could work with the region joining the Viva?
I think if everyone's attitude's right, anything can work, mate, to be honest. I think that it doesn't matter as long as we're all in it for the right reasons and we're working together.
Are you likely to give Alan Wynne a weekend off this year? And then up their training?
Yeah, no. Again, the team's released Thursday, so we'll just, yeah.
Richard Hibbert was on the bench last week, moving from the outside. That seemed as though maybe the contract stuff was affecting.
Absolutely, had nothing to do with it at all. Not at all. What we've got to manage some boys here. You know, them coming in and us having 4 days to prepare. They've had 4 very, you know, pretty tough games for Wales, and what we've got to do is put the player at the centre of our thoughts. And what we wanted to make sure of is that we know that we've got a big tough run coming up in the next bit, and we need to make sure those boys are fresh mentally and physically. And so, you know, putting Gibbes on the bench had nothing to do with contracts. It was more about player management and what's best for him long term and what's best for the team. So, you know, and again, we do that with every player. What's best for him. Now, those boys coming back only had 4 days to prepare, and you know, from a coaching perspective, we just didn't think that was probably the right thing to do for particularly the amount of work that they've had over the last 5 weeks.
You spoke to Wales Man of the Series this autumn. What do you make of these performances?
Yeah, I think he was massively combative, and he just really offered himself everywhere. He you know, physically was just, you know, it was just awesome to see him and doing what he's doing. And again, you know, he's got some good boys around him, but for him to stand out like he did, I think that was pretty good.
Does he start on Friday night?
Pardon?
Does Hibbert start on Friday night?
Man, I can't give you that oil, mate. Eh? You'll be out there selling it.
You must be pleased with Ben John's display.
Yeah, I think from a centre's point of view, both him and T.I. have done pretty well over the last couple of weeks. So again, it's just great to see players grow, you know, take their learning from training and be able to transfer that into the game. And I think, you know, that's the challenge we have as coaches. That's why we do it. It's just great to see when that happens. And in Ben's case, he's been taking some decent strides, and he'll need to step up again this week if he once he gets the nod.